Welcome back, everyone, to the Tron podcast. This is your host, Rashad Woods. And the reason this show was created was to talk to entrepreneurs, visionaries, and people who have carved out their niche and field and specialized and helped others and grown themselves to be success. And this man embodies exactly what the show is all about. Rich Kozak of RichBrands, the CEO, can tell you all about growing a brand from large companies to individuals, small businesses. He's done it all. And here he is from Los Angeles, here to share that knowledge with us.
Hi, Rashad. Thank you for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm telling you, if you're listening to this episode, you're going to hear things you have never heard that will be a blessing to your business and possibly your life. So stay tuned.
Thank you very much. So please, before we dive into, your inspiration, your success, let's get into your background a bit of where you actually started and coming into the person that you became when it came to marketing, advertising, brand growth, and ultimately helping others on the other side once you decided to make a career shift.
Well, I was raised by some very empowering parents. Mm-hmm. A father who taught kids how to teach math in high school, but he had degrees in music and physics and education. And he actually ran the music and math departments at a college before we moved to Penn State, where he taught secondary ed. And a mom who went to Columbia and did piano performance, but also taught English. So I have a mom who's an English teacher. She still talks to me from heaven and corrects my grammar. She has a Southern accent, and she always starts with, "Now, darling, would you please tell your friend Rashad?" She's literally so. Yeah. Anyway, and so I was interested in a lot of things and was encouraged and empowered every time. Can we take you to the rehearsals? Oh, you want to play tennis? Yeah. Oh, you want to play violin? Oh, that's marvelous. Oh, you want to be in theater? Oh, that's really good. Oh, you want to make money? Oh, paint my house. It's like, I'll buy the equipment.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like, you can't do that. You'll suck at that. Oh, don't sing. Your sister sings better. Right. I didn't get any of that. Right. I got the uplifting part. So I was raised by educated and uplifting parents.
Beautiful.
Who saw possibilities. And I think that's a huge part of it. I've had mentors along the way. I mentioned a couple of them to you in our pre-meet that have fed into me what they know. Mm-hmm. And having felt that process and how uplifting and how fulfilling and how, no pun intended, enriching, growing it is.
Right.
I love to do that to others because I know what it feels like and I know what the outcome of it is. And look, Rashad, one of the things that has become really clear to me, I have clients of all kinds. We help people publish books.
Yes.
We have a publishing company.
Yeah.
And one of the books that was published is called The Ugliest Word. It was about incest. This woman said, "Can I publish my book on your publishing company?"
Oh, my God.
I didn't know anything about incest. It's sexual abuse by people in your own family or people that you trust. It's like, what I've learned along the way about what people go through, speaking to experts and coaches and, the people that have come to me and said, I need to make sure my brand comes alive. People don't understand the uniqueness of what I do, those kind of things. I have learned what it's like for a lot of people that walk around feeling unworthy, not uplifted, not capable, hold themselves back. I'm a certified trainer of neurolinguistics programming.
Yeah.
I don't sell that. I don't train neurolinguistics programming, but I'm certified to train. I did that work. It was a significant amount of work over 3 years to listen better,
right?
To be able to hear about people from what they say. And it's phenomenal. And you can hear the limiting beliefs in a person's language. And we all have it. And so
that's wonderful.
I get to have people who can clearly see impacting others through the work they do, their gift, their calling, whatever their business, whatever they call it. They can see the impacts they know they can make. Now, they might be making them already, or they just might envision them, but they don't know anything about branding, and they think branding is whatever they think it is, right. And it's not what they think it is. Okay, well, matter of fact, we should probably deal with that like the elephant in the room, like first. And I can do that in one sentence, but to help them define in language, the brand they will become that will enable them easily to impact those whose lives they really want to impact. What a blessing.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
And so I stopped branding when I was 50. I said, I don't do this anymore. Quit the agency business. But through a series of personal requests and aha moments, I chose to work with just individuals. who see the impacts they want to make. And so that's what I do now. And I've done it almost for 10 more years. I mean, I'm almost at 10 years working with individuals, and I'm not done doing it. I'm not stopping, you know?
Your energy is infectious too, because it comes from an authentic place. And so, you know, what I think that what happens too is people make branding and they never actually define. I had a hard time with this show, right? Because we're like, what is the Tron podcast all about? And it's like, well, the randomness of nothing. And what I narrowed it down to, and I'm still working on this to this day, is to talk to people like yourself. I'm a curious guy. Your background is very similar to mine. Great parents, always encouraged to be, you know, mindful of their surroundings, read, understand, can-do attitude. But the thing that...
You know what I didn't mention? They were people of faith.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I have to mention that. That's a foundational piece.
Right. That's the foundation of who you are as a person. So, you know, for me, as I started to cultivate this show, I started to say, well, what's the one thing I'm really good at? And so, I mean, I thought I always am curious about how things work, operate, and how I'm always in a continuous state of learning. So I started to decide that I needed to talk to people who have mastered their particular lane or their particular niche to grow something into success. And so as a result, I'm talking to a person like yourself. And that's ultimately how the show has gotten people such as yourself. So what are common mistakes that companies, businesses, and individuals make when it comes to building a brand?
Wow, it's a great question, and I might need to reframe the question, but I heard it clearly. I can answer that question directly. There are a lot of mistakes. As a matter of fact, I do a 60-minute masterclass every month called An Hour of Brand Power. And it says the 4 things you absolutely must have or your brand will fall flat, and 7 things that are really common that people do that hurt them, and they got to stop it right now. Okay, right. It's like I do that every month. So there's a lot of mistakes. The foundational element is not understanding what branding is. So here goes. Whether you have a company or you're a solopreneur, you can tell me in 30 seconds or 3 minutes or 10 minutes about your brand. What you say is irrelevant. That is not your brand. What you think it is not your brand.
That's deep. That's deep.
Okay? It's not what you think it is. It's what your most important target audience, the individual, the type of company that you clearly see impacting and really want to impact. It's what they perceive it is. So your brand, and write it down, my brand is a perception, but it's not your perception. It's their perception. And let's define they. They are those individuals, those target audiences, and you can literally define them. They look like this. You can close your eyes and ask your heart, give me one that I really want to impact. And I can see the impacts I can make on them. It starts with an individual, but it might end up being a company or an industry or a country. Right. But it starts with an individual. It's the perception in the mind of your most important target audiences that is your brand. And your job in branding is to shape a consistent perception. You start thinking of your brand like that, and the whole world of branding for you changes. See, a lot of people think branding is, looks and lines and campaigns and angles and logos and, and then think, oh, no, we have a brand. People come to me, well, I already have a brand. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. I'm sorry. And I'm not being rude. It's start with your brand is the perception in the mind of your most important target audiences. And your job is to shape a consistent perception. So branding is shaping a consistent perception in the minds of your target audience. Your most important target audiences. Do not care about people that live 20,000 miles away and love to pet giraffes. I love giraffes, okay? But if it has nothing to do with what you do, let's not worry about them. Your job in branding is to shape a consistent perception in the minds of those you most care about. And in doing that, there's a way to do it. And here's the other piece of that people don't understand. Branding is a process. It's steps. And I'm going to say branding done right that is always effective is a process and it's steps. And that's one of the reasons I'm writing the book, because people don't know that and they don't have access to it. The world doesn't teach it. When I had to tell a $14 billion company CEO and their direct reports that branding is not airy-fairy bullshit, which is what they thought it was because they were all engineers and,
all we have to do is do this on the background, and all we have to do is basically...
the marketing guys, them, they're all fluffy. Yeah. And I'm saying, like, look, you guys build pipelines through jungle.
Yeah.
You build a platform in the North Sea. Same thing, building a brand. They're like, what? It's a process. It's steps. You leave steps out, things aren't going to work out right.
For sure. And I think
it requires certain things. And people go like, whoa. Yeah. Okay. So I'm writing a book called Impact-Driven Branding,
right.
7 Steps to Ensure Your Brand Impacts People's Lives and the World. And you have that book next to you, and you put the fill-in-the-blanks outlines next to the book, and the process is yours. You own how to champion your own brand. You own how to ask your heart. You own how to define the characteristics you must get credit for. You own, and if you need help, great, I'm here, but you have it. I'm giving it. That's what I'm doing. I'm handing it. I want it to be in the hands of millions of people, entrepreneurs who know there's more.
Right.
You know how common that is?
It is.
I mean,
it's very, and just briefly, and I hate to interrupt you. And I just segue only asking because now that it's the Instagram, TikTok generation, everybody's the brand specialist, so to speak, right? Because people get views and likes and
it's the excessive misuse and misunderstanding of what a brand really is.
Okay.
If you think that a brand is faking, if you think that a brand is, something that you like create, but it's not really you, get over it.
Yeah.
You know why? You're going to always be in conflict.
Okay. That's deep. That's really deep.
It's like, why? Look, you hit one shot at life. We're all made by the same creator. We get the opportunity to touch the world we touch in the most significant way possible through the gifts we've been given by the creator that's created us. Mm-hmm. Get on with it. Right. Okay? Don't think stuff up that's not you.
Right.
Or have somebody slap something on you that makes you wear a superhero costume and it doesn't fit. Stop it. Okay? I mean, if you needed to hear that to empower yourself, to follow your heart, I give that to you. Yeah. And I love you and I don't even know you.
Appreciate it.
But there you have it. Okay?
I think authenticity goes a long way, and ultimately all these services that we use, there's a great saying, and you know this quote because you're in branding and marketing. If it's free, you're not the customer, you're the product being sold, right? So every time people go out there and they're using these services and, YouTube, TikTok, you're being sold to, and you don't.
Chat GPT without it.
You don't.
Just like the baby boom generation became more discerning about advertising, we used to fall for it. And then all of a sudden, we got more discerning about how we purchase things. We started looking behind the company at who's behind it, what they stood for, versus just being affected by messaging. We became discerning. We became better buyers. Younger generations will wake up to how they're being played and will change the way they respond or not respond. It's kind of like food. I'm an organic farmer.
Oh, wonderful.
I raise food I'm a cook. I'm an organic chef. I love cooking. I cook for my wife. When I left the agency, I said, I'll take over the kitchen. So I've been cooking ever since. So when you learn that a certain company has cornered the seed market for corn and that 90 to 95% of the corn grown in the world is sprayed with Roundup because its DNA has been, messed with in the lab so that it can handle the Roundup. Roundup kills everything else in the field, but the corn can grow and you're eating it and it's got glyphosate in it and glyphosate's a carcinogen. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't buy corn anymore.
Right, okay? Right.
It's like you just learn. You get smarter and if you keep learning. And so this too shall pass. Mm-hmm. But indeed, until we learn that our lives are not private, if we allow them to not be private, then we get invaded. And that doesn't come out well.
And
I have a client whose focus is data security and privacy laws to help small companies like one person up to 10 people be in compliance with data security and privacy laws. So how can one person know what the data security and privacy, particularly if you're not technical? You can't. But he puts things in place so that eventually they're in compliance and stay in compliance. And if they ever get breached, which they will, everybody will get breached.
Does.
They probably already have been because they didn't have the right protection. Already the malware's in their computer or in their phone, because of the AI-driven software that the internet criminals are using. And this guy is a company called Compliance Specialists USA.com. That's the website, Compliance Specialists USA.com. So these little packages that small businesses can afford that put them in compliance and keep them in compliance. And so when they get breached, they get sued. They can't be sued for not, being on a path to compliance.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and we just get smarter, and we need to learn. It's like what your parents taught you, cavemen taught their kids too. You need to learn how to take care of yourself.
For sure.
There's certain things you do and certain things you don't do.
Absolutely.
If you see a saber-toothed tiger track, you don't follow them.
My God, no. My God, no.
Come back to the cave.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I thought what was interesting most about branding is that, you said that it's organically you, and you went, how was the transitional phase, from business to individuals? Because here you are working with okay.
There's no difference. The process is the same. The steps are the same. Marketing's the same thing. It's a process, but marketing is execution. Branding is foundational. Branding comes first. The definition, the languaging, the purposeful, the strategy of a brand is established first. Marketing gets the brand credit for what it must get credit for.
Okay.
Marketing creates the distribution channels. Okay. Marketing chooses what's products to sell and how to price them. Marketing decisions are made to execute an excellent branding strategy. So look, if you write this down, seriously,
I got a pen.
Your marketing, when it's at its best, is the execution of an excellent branding strategy. So never mess that up. I hear people literally say, you know what, we don't have time for branding. We just need some leads. So we're going to get some marketing and then we'll do the branding later. Don't even think about that. Don't go there. Okay. What you want to think is when your brand has been clearly defined in language so that everything you say and do is aligned with the impacts you want to make. And those could be very profitable impacts. They could be a thriving business. It could be a nonprofit. It could be anything, any kind of business. When your brand is defined and languaged and ready to open its mouth, that's the time marketing kicks in. And so, if you get them backwards, you get 6 bad consequences.
Really?
I'm not kidding. You asked me what mistakes make. Lack of consistency breaks trust. So it also creates confusion. So those 6 bad consequences that you just do market. Oh, we did this. We tried that. We did it. Or you hire somebody and they use language it's not congruent with you. You get confusion, misinformation. You don't get credit for what makes you outstanding in a way that sets you apart. Duh. You waste a lot of money on marketing. We tried the marketing, but the marketing didn't work. It's
the branding. It's the lack of branding that you had when you.
It's the lack of. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know what? You and I are going to get along really well.
Well, I think people hear marketing, advertising, and branding, and they kind of mixed all the 3 in between. But now that you actually sit back and say, what product are you looking to sell? What audience are you looking to sell it to? And how do you formulate the strategy to do so? And if you haven't actually,
Rashad, I'm in my 49th year of defining and languaging brands and launching them, including 17 and a half years running a high-tech ad agency as executive vice president and head of new business and heading up the largest client teams. I've been through a lot of stuff with a lot of different kinds of companies, big companies. Now, for the last 10 years, many solopreneurs. I mean, I have clients who they have 15 people who work for them, or, they're a team that integrates software. So there's 5 people. But, it's the process is the same. The steps are the same. You leave out steps. If you don't know the steps and you leave them out, it's not going to turn out well.
I got to ask.
If you try to short circuit it, do marketing first before, you're just going to create problems. And now you've got to overcome the problems. Come on. That's really expensive. What does it cost 1 year of doing it with no clarity? What does that year cost? You don't even know how many years you have.
Right.
What does that year cost?
Very true.
Very true. If you could bake clarity into everything, clarity and alignment with your impacts into everything the brand says and does, what's that worth?
Right.
You figure it out. What's that year worth? Where you have a year where the clarity is baked in, and now you get to run knowing that everything is aligned and clarity. People feel clarity. It's palpable.
Right.
They go, oh, there's something about Rashad. It's just different. When branding is done right, people feel the clarity. They feel the language. One of the 4 things a brand must have to come alive is unique language that transfers energy. You can have unique language all day long, but if it doesn't transfer energy and make people want what it is, but they can't really tell what it is, but they want it. Like my client, Barry, is the creator of the brand Mindful Longevity, experiencing a younger brain as you age.
Wonderful.
Oh my God, I want that.
Yeah, of course you do.
What is that?
Of course you do.
Okay, right. When it transfers energy relevant to what you do, it's powerful. If you don't, you fall flat. I'm going to repeat that. You fall flat. And most brands fall flat. Stop it.
Right.
Okay.
Do you feel as though that people feel like they can shortcut the process because now people can chat GTP it, or they can automate it, so to speak, so they don't put in the necessary legwork, so to speak, to actually building?
I won't be critical. I'll be reflective. Okay. First, I'll say artificial intelligence is an absolute boon to us as individuals and to our society, unless it's misused. So be careful.
Got it.
So remember I said I had a client who dealt with compliance with data security and privacy laws. I realized that when people, employees of big companies start messing with a generic, and I won't mention labels, but a generic AI engine, they didn't pay for it. They just are messing. And they put in data from the company to see what
can spit out.
They might be handing away the company's intellectual property. They literally might be handing away data that is supposed to be securely protected by the data security and privacy laws, of the laws of California or Virginia or New York or Europe or, the United States government or federal contract. It's like people are just messing with it. Oh, we're just practicing. Are you freaking kidding me? It's like, so AI is a boon. And here's how it's a boon. You can help you speed it. Obviously, it saves a ton of time. But if you take first of all, you better pay for it and have a wall around it. You never feed your unique language that you've paid time and money and effort to create into a general AI engine and give it to the world. Why would you do that? Well, people do it every day. Don't stop it. Just stop it. Pay for it. Get a wall around it. But then when it feeds you back, it's must uniquely edit it so that is the brand. It's got to be congruent with the language of the brand.
Right.
If it's using words or language that are incongruent with you, you got to fix it before you use it. But if you don't have that language, if you haven't done that work, it's kind of like hiring a third-party marketer and they say, okay, give me the branding guidelines. And you go, oh, we don't have any.
Right.
They can do whatever they want.
Right.
They can use whatever the 25 powerful words of marketing, free, whatever they can use, whatever, and that becomes your brand. And you look at it and you go, oh,
that's not, that wasn't what I was looking for.
Well, I hope we get some leads. But what you've done is you've created confusion, misinformation. And now you have to fix it. But guess what? If that marketing stuff has crossed the credibility line, like if people don't believe it because it's exaggerated, people don't believe it and it doesn't feel like you, how are you going to fix that?
It's very hard.
You're probably not. So what you've done is you've created a monster. Sorry. So, do I think people, they think they can take shortcuts. They take shortcuts by doing marketing for branding. They take shortcuts with AI thinking it'll give me the language I need. I'm not a very good writer. And they don't make sure that they do the final step of customizing it so that it's congruent with their brand and the way their brand speaks, because they're going to sound just like everybody else that fed the same input into AI and got the same stuff. And now they're going to sound like everybody else. Is that branding?
Yeah. Not even close. And it's inauthentic. And more importantly, it's basically trying to shortcut.
Well, it might feel inauthentic if you don't weed out the things that feel inauthentic. I mean, let's be specific.
Right.
Yeah, it's not inauthentic by design. You're authentically asking it to give you stuff, but you own your brand's language.
Correct.
or not.
Correct.
My NLP master would say that, you own it or not. Like if you don't own it, okay,
Yeah, it's on you.
how's that working for you in all the areas of your life? It's like,
I've always been fascinated by people such as yourself because I think that whenever I have them on this show, the amount of things that they've accomplished and they can do are not, it's almost a disservice that there's a time frame I have to have on it because there's so much about somebody such as yourself and their accomplishments. So for the purpose of this show, however, where can people find you? They clearly don't need me. You are very, very successful on your own. Where can people find Rich Kozak, RichBrands, and all the services that you offer, and to help people not hit those sort of landmines, so to speak, when trying to build their business, their brand from a business or a personal standpoint?
thank you for asking me that. I'm going to surprise anyone who's listening here. Somebody that has 49 years of experience and talks straight talk, not tricky talk like you see in a lot of branding and marketing circles. They use a lot of trick language to make you think you need a guru. I avoid that. I talk straight talk, and I don't have time to do anything but talk straight talk. I also teach whole groups. I speak, and I want to speak to business groups. I'm going to surprise you by saying, if you know there's more for you and you want to talk about what you envision, the impacts you see making, or the things you want to do, you literally can go to my website, richbrands.org. Rich, my name, brands, what I do, .org, richbrands.org. Right on the top of the homepage, there's a button that says, talk to Rich for 30 minutes. Beautiful. Until I take that button down, you, wherever you are in the world, can get on my calendar. If your name is Rodney Strong's going to pop up on my calendar, and I'm going to go, oh, I see I have a half hour with Rodney Strong on Thursday. If you're not ready, if you're intimidated, but there's no charge for that 30 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Seriously. And I will listen to you. And there's a lot that can happen. My saying, may I reflect on what I've heard, hear the possibilities I see, hear things I would warn you to. It's like, if you don't do that, that's on you.
Absolutely.
If you're ready, I want you to hop on and talk to me.
For sure.
Okay? Seriously. I'm not done doing this. And as long as I am open and, you can do that, great. Now, I also do small group things. I do 2 60-minute master classes every month. And the way to get on them is to register. They're free, but you have to register. And the one talks about if you're going to hit your highest level impacts, you better evolve that perception, because they won't let you in if you don't. It's called, and just write this down, just go on to Brand First, FIRST, brandfirstorDie.com. There you go. I know it sounds a little edgy, but Brand really First or Die, and show up. It'll be at 5:00 on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and the times I'm quoting are Pacific. I'm in Los Angeles. So, if you're in Europe, 5:00, that's in the middle of the night. That's bad. If you're in, in Australia or Asia, 5:00 is pretty darn good. So, but I also do a half-day mind-changing called Branding You with Impact. And that's the registration, brandingyouwithimpact.com. It's a few bucks, but it's worth 100 times the value. It'll change the way you think about what it means to define and language a brand so clearly that everything you say and do aligns. What happens when you do? We literally show what happens when you do that and what happens when you don't. It will reshape your thinking, branding you with impact. So one of those three, talk to me in person. Let me listen to let me listen to you talk about what you see doing and talk about possibilities, or sign up for one of our 60-minute master classes. I would start with brandfirstorDie.com, or just get right to it if you're ready to, to judge this and say, wow, do I really resonate with this? And is this guy as straight talk as he says he is?
For sure.
brandingyouwithimpact.com. Just get on it. And be there. You'll hear other people who work with us who jump on and say, look, this is the real deal. This is what happened to me. Look, defining a language and brand is one thing. Executing is another. Completely. So
for sure,
we stay involved with people to help them make sure their logo is representative of their brand, to make sure that the podcast they launch is literally a stake in the ground that moves their brand forward.
Right.
We help define title, subtitle, outline chapters, and help write books that are stakes in the ground for people to move.
Wonderful.
It's like it's all happening here, and it's a blast. It's absolutely blast. And it always is. It always works because it starts with what's in your heart. It's always congruent with you. If that resonates with you, I want you to connect. I really do. And you know,
that's deep stuff.
Rashad and I had to talk before. He knows I played in a rock band. He knows I worked in a factory. He knows, you know, I was on the board of directors of the American Marketing Association International. He knows that I've been married for 49 years and 54 Valentine's Days. He knows I'm an organic gardener and a chef. He knows I play violin and speak Italian. He knows all these things about me. Like, I've lived a very full life and I'm not done.
You're not
okay. And it's fun all the way. And I want to hear about you and make sure that you get credit for what makes you outstanding.
You know, I got to tell you, man, that's a lot to take in. And, you know, what you've accomplished, the time that you managed to carve out for this little podcast, trying to grow and talk to people like yourself, I'm eternally grateful and thankful because, you know, people have a lot of information that's thrown at them, but it's not often that people can back up what they say and what they do. Because, unfortunately, in this digital era, there are a lot of people who just want to be flash in the pans or make a quick advertisement on your screen, and then you click yes. But Rich Kozak is the real deal. RichBrands is the real deal. And I got to tell you, this has been a blast. And I am honored that you carved out time on the Tron podcast to share a little bit tidbits of your knowledge to spread to others.
Rashad, I'd be nowhere without you. I'd be sitting on Zoom by myself, buddy.
Oh, man.
We're made for each other.
I didn't expect. It's like the Dark Knight when the Joker was like, "You complete me," right? So,
well, it's not exactly like that.
Okay. No, it's not. That's why I was just joking. So, but no, I'm absolutely honored and pleasured that you carved out time to be on the Tron podcast. So, thank you, sir.